Just a quick thing before you guys fully like indulge in this video. I've basically split it into two halves. When I was recording it the other day, I decided that there was just so much information that I needed to give you guys, and it was turning into like a nearly hour-long video. So I thought if I split it in half, I can give you two parts of just key information that you guys need to camp for gigs, and it just, you know, it splits it up a little bit because, you know, an hour-long video is a long time to sit and watch something. I just thought I'd give you the information just kind of in two parts. So this is part one that you're about to watch now, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Indie Rain Rocks. So today's video has been very highly requested from you guys over the last couple of years since I first started YouTube, because I'm not sure if a lot of my new subscribers know, but a lot of the gigs that I would go to, I would basically camp out for either one night or sometimes even two, because I was crazy like that. So I thought today's video I would do a little like do's and don'ts, what you need to go and camp and things like that, just basically because in my old camping videos I would always get questions from you guys basically asking me what I would take and what I would do. So I thought, let's just make a video and give everyone all of the information they may need in case they want to camp for a show. And obviously with gigs coming back now after no one touring over the last couple of years, a lot of people are now starting to camp for shows, especially for Louis' tour. I've seen a lot of girls out there camping, and I've even seen girls camping in the snow, which honestly, I have been there. I have camped in the snow for that man as well. It is horrible. So, you know, big love to you guys for doing that, because honestly, it is difficult camping in the snow, I have to say. So yes, and with that, let's get into the video. So I'm basically going to kick off this video with a little bit of a checklist of what you will need if you are going to camp for a gig. So this might be a very obvious one, but you need layers, okay? You need a lot of clothing, I promise. The best clothing you could possibly take with you is some thermals, because they just go very nicely underneath your clothes. I cannot even tell you how warm they are. I use them to camp, I use them for my horses, I even just use them if I'm just cold walking around like my local town. They keep you warm. They're literally the best base layer you could possibly get yourself, so definitely get yourself some thermals. But other things I would suggest taking with you is jumpers, hoodies, coats. Take several of them. Just layer yourself up and make sure you are warm. If it's summer and you're camping in the summer, obviously you don't need stuff like that, but just take them anyway just in case, because you never know what the weather's going to do. Because if you live in a country like me in the UK, the weather literally will change every 10 minutes and you will not know what the forecast is until the day of the event. So just make sure you take enough layers with you that you need, especially if you're going to have anything on your bottom half. I'd wear several pairs of leggings, several pairs of joggers. Take some waterproofs with you if you really want to, just in case it rains and you want to stay dry. Just literally take as many items of clothing that's going to keep you warm as you can. So the next item in the checklist that a lot of people don't tend to take with them, but I think you're crazy if you don't take one of these with you, because it's literally probably one of the most important things you could take, and that is a tent. The smaller the better realistically. A 2 or 3 man tent will be absolutely fine, even just one that pops up and then will pop back down easily, because those where you need to like fully build it, they're just a pain. So if you can just get one where it just pops open, it's perfect. In 2-man tents, I've gotten like 3 or 4 people in them before. I cannot even tell you how warm it is. The more people you get in your tent, the better. It is literally so hot. And a little sneaky preview, if you can get in the middle of your friends, you will be nice and toasty all night, because you've got 2 people keeping you nice and warm. And what you can put in your tent is obviously your belongings. If you're going to put belongings in your tent, make sure your feet are facing the entrance and your belongings are behind your head. But what you are going to need to put in your tent is several layers of blankets. If you have ever watched my very early vlogs when I was doing Nile Tour and Harry Tour, or even any gigs where I was camping, when I used to vlog in the car, you may have noticed in the background behind me of a lot of the videos, I would have so much camping equipment in there. I'd have tents, I'd have duvets, I'd have literally hundreds of blankets in the back of my car. And that was just our way of basically keeping ourselves warm, because if you're laid on a concrete floor, I promise, no matter what the temperature is, no matter what time of year it is, the concrete will be cold. So I would take blankets with you, because then what you do is you basically line the floor with like 5 or 6 blankets, and then you get a duvet. Basically you get 1 duvet per person, and then you cocoon yourself in the duvet. The best night's sleep I have ever gotten is when I have done that. When I've slept on the street, which is crazy. And so many people I know have said that, where they're just like, I've not had such a good night's sleep in such a long time, and then I sleep on the street and it's like the best night's sleep ever. So if you can layer blankets underneath you and then cocoon yourself in a duvet, I promise you, you will be super, super warm. Obviously, as I just mentioned, me and my mum, whenever we would camp, we obviously would take the car, and that meant that we would have obviously everything in the car. So we'd take everything down to the venue with us in the car, get it all out of the car, and then the next day before the doors opened, we'd put everything back in the car, and we'd be able to basically take everything home and reuse it for the next gig. But obviously a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to be able to go to a show in their car. So what I would suggest, if you can't do that, is to go to your nearest shop. I know a lot of shops in the UK, I'm not sure about other countries, so you have to let people know down in the comments if there are other places like these in the UK, but I know there are shops like Primark or even Asda or just any like local supermarket where you can basically go in and get a reasonably heavy duvet that's going to obviously keep you warm for like £8. So if you can do that, whether you're camping or whether you're queuing up at 5 AM, just go and get one of those, because it's only £8. You know, if you can obviously if you've got a hotel, if you can take it back to the hotel, then obviously you can reuse it again. But even if not, what a lot of venues will do is they will have a little designated area where basically for anyone who's bought like blankets or duvets that they don't have anything to do with them, they will basically say go and put them in this area, and then we're going to donate them to the homeless, which obviously is so amazing. So if you can do that, if you're not able to save your blankets or duvets, then just make sure they get donated to the homeless, because honestly I can't even tell you guys how much they appreciate that. Now my next tip for camping is probably one of the best things you can do if you're queuing up for a long period of time, and that is making a number system. And if you don't know what that is, that basically means that you get a number written in your hand in order that you have arrived at the venue to queue, and then that is the order in which you then go into the venue to get barrier or whatever it is that you are going in for. So I would suggest that, because obviously when people are camping there could be up to like 100 or 200 people camping, depending on the size of the venue or the, you know, popularity of the artist. So what I would do is, this is a tip for you that I have tried out and it works, where basically you number up from number 1 to about number 20. So if you're the first person that arrives, you number up to number 20, and then you kind of take care of that group of 20. I say take care, like take care of that group of 20. So if anyone's got any queries or anything like that, they come to you. And then numbers 21 to 40 then has their own little group. So number 21 then takes care of that group of 20, and then so on down the line. I just think that's so much easier than having having one person to take care of 200 people who are camping, when you're not officially obviously someone who like works for the venue or anything, you're just a fan that's camping as well. So I think if you can kind of have several different people doing small groups of number system, I feel like that would work, and then you can obviously kind of communicate between you all and things like that. And it's just, I feel like it's just so much less chaotic. You get less people coming up and asking questions, because sometimes we'd have people in like the 200s coming down to say to us, oh, is it alright if we leave the queue? And we're just like, you're in number 200, you know, you've got to discuss that with the people around you. Like, we're not even like anywhere near you right now. You know, if you want to leave the queue, you ask the people around you. So it's just easier then, obviously you don't have to walk all the way down to the front of the queue to ask someone a question when you're literally like quite far away down. What I would also like to say about queuing and the number system as well is that if you do need to leave the queue for whatever reason, because what I like to do is once I'm in the queue, I don't leave. Unless I really have to. I stay in that queue. I will stay in that queue all day and all night. I will only leave if I really have to. So that is what I would suggest to you guys as well. But if you do need to leave the queue, then let the person who's doing the number system know, and the people around you. And I would say don't leave the queue for any more than an hour. And if obviously you need to leave for longer than an hour, if your hotel's further away from the venue than you'd like, or if, you know, if you're going to go get ready for the gig, then just let people know. Just be like, oh, I'm going to leave the queue, but I'm going to be gone for 2 or 3 hours. Just so then they know where you are, so they don't think to themselves, where's number 15 gone? Like, I've not seen them for ages, they've just suddenly up and disappeared. So let people around you know where you've gone, and let the people doing the number system know where you've gone, just so there's like no confusion when you come back and they're just like, who are you? Because obviously then that just adds to the stress of camping, because it's like, you know who I am because I've been here. And yeah, just make sure to let people know where you're going. And also, if you don't know the people around you, exchange social medias, exchange numbers, just kind of get to know the people around you, because those are the people you're most likely going to be standing next to in the venue as well, and obviously you're going to be sleeping next to them a lot of the time. So get to know them, be all nice and friendly, and if anything were to happen, just say to them, you know, whilst I'm gone, do you mind keeping me updated on the queue and anything else that's going on, just so you don't get like, just so you don't get back and then think to yourself, what is all this chaos? What has happened? Obviously everything I'm telling you guys in this video is basically like going from my experience camping, so obviously no one's going to have the exact same camping experience. Some venues might have different rules than others, but what a lot of venues here in the UK do is they're so good with the number system, they stick to it, they are aware of the people who have camped. One of the best like number system experiences I've ever had camping, and this literally happened in 2016, and every single time I've gone to this like place, it's literally just been fantastic. And that is basically, Birmingham is quite literally the best city I have gone to regarding the number system, because basically they really honour it. They really honour the number system. They totally understand why fans camp, they totally get it, and they don't do anything to make it a stressful experience for campers, because they know it can be, you know, quite a scary thing to do. So what they do is, the day of the gig they'll arrive, these two security guards, they arrive and they basically give a little bit of a pep talk and basically introduce themselves to the campers, which is so nice. Well, they don't just introduce themselves to the campers, they introduce themselves to everyone who's in the queue at that time. So what they do is they basically speak to the people who have been doing the number system and say, how many numbers have you given out roughly so far? And then they shout everyone and get them to line up in number order, and they will then do their own number system, which still obviously honours the original one. But what they do is, which I think is just incredible, and it's the most fair way of doing it, where they basically write everyone's numbers that they have on like one hand, they write it on another hand in a different coloured pen. And then what they do is, say there's like a group of people, we're going to say like, say numbers like 22 to 25 are basically a group of friends, and then there's like number 23, say, hasn't been in the queue for a couple of hours. So then that group of friends will then get hold of number 23 and say, they're redoing a number system, so you need to get back here now, because you're going to lose your number if not. Because what they do is, if you've not been back for a certain amount of time, and if the people around you haven't seen you for ages, they'll disregard that. So say number 23 is someone that the group doesn't know, so number 22 will just be like, oh, I've not seen number 23 for 6 hours, like I got here roughly the same time she did, and then she disappeared after she got her number and she's not come back. So what they'll then do is get number 24 and turn them into number 23, if that makes sense. So I just think that's a really fair way of doing it, because obviously what you don't want is to have slept and camped like crazy and not left the queue, and then have someone come in front of you who's not been in the queue at all and is standing there just like, hello, I slept on the street and you've not been here for several hours, like where have you just suddenly come from? So I just think that's the best way of doing it. Birmingham security, honestly, like I say, the best people ever. Another thing about the Birmingham security as well is, when I went to camp in Birmingham for Harry in 2018, I think I slept on the street for 2 nights. That's my usual, sleep there for 2 nights. And what they had done is, which I think was super kind, was they stuck a number on the doors next to where we were sleeping, and they basically said, if you need anything, ring this number, no matter what time of the day it is or what time of night it is, ring this number and we will help you. And I just thought that was literally incredible, because they did not have to do that realistically, because it was our choice to camp, but they just wanted to make sure we were safe, which I just thought was amazing. But yeah, basically a lot of venues do honour the number system. Like, a lot of them won't rewrite the number system like these Birmingham security, but they just do it with fairness. Other venues just kind of, you know, they are aware of the number system and they'll say, yeah, we will stick to that, and 9 times out of 10 they will, and they'll make sure to line you up in number order when just before the doors open, just obviously, you know, so they can control the queue a little bit better. There have been some instances as well where the police will come to the line. I've seen it on social media where the police have come, and I've experienced it myself where the police have come, and my experience with it, I'm not sure of other people, so you have to let me know, but my experience with it was actually really good, because it was when I was camping for Harry in Manchester in 2017, and we were camping opposite the venue on like a big grassed area, and I'll tell you why we were camping opposite the venue rather than in front of it in the next bit. But basically the police station was actually a little bit down the road, and they'd heard that people were camping, and there was quite a lot of us. I think there was about 50 of us 2 nights before the gig already. So what happened was the police came down, and obviously we saw them coming, so we were worried, thinking, oh, they're going to move us on, you know, we don't know what we're going to do, because obviously we've all got our numbers and we don't really want to leave the queue. But what happened was they came down, and it was because they were basically introducing themselves and saying that they were on night duty for the next couple of nights, and they said that if we needed anything to just let them know. They were literally just down the road, and if anything was going to happen to us, or if literally, like I say, we needed anything, to let them know. And it was just really nice. And then all night, basically all night for the next couple of nights, they basically kept coming down and making sure everyone was okay and chatting to us all, even got some pictures with them. It was just, they were just so nice, they were so understanding, they totally got why we were doing it, and it was just really nice of them basically to offer to kind of, you know, to help us and to just say, you know, if you need anything, just please let us know. I thought that was really, really sweet of them. So basically the reason why we were camping opposite the venue for Harry in 2017 rather than in front of it was because the first night that we were camping there was actually a gig on that obviously wasn't Harry, so what we didn't want to do was obviously get caught in with all of, you know, that crowd and, you know, kind of just caused a little bit of confusion. So we made sure that we camped away from the venue but still like next to it, just, you know, so they had the room to basically organise that crowd, and so we weren't in the way, which is totally normal. That's happened to me a few times after that night where there's been gigs on where I've been camping for a show in a couple of days and they've basically moved us like away from the doors where there's going to be more queues forming. It's just, it's safer for everyone that way. And basically the reason why we did that as well was because we knew that we weren't actually allowed to camp outside the venue. And the reason why venues say this, because I know a lot of people are very like, oh, just ignore the venue, just go camp there anyway. But the reason why they do that is genuinely for your safety, because a lot of venues don't have in-house security. So there's been times where I've camped outside venues and they've basically said, yeah, you can camp here, we've got cameras here, we're going to keep an eye on you, we're going to make sure you're safe all night. And then there's been other venues where they don't have that, and what they do is they're kind of doing it to protect themselves, because obviously if anything were to happen to you, it'd kind of be on them. So in the nicest way possible, they're doing it to keep everyone safe. But what I would do is, if they say that you're not allowed to camp, is choose an area opposite the road, from on the other side of the road from the venue, or just near the venue but not quite next to it, where you can camp, where it's kind of public land, so you can do whatever you want there, and they shouldn't move you on. I've never experienced someone move you on from doing that, because it's essentially, it's not their land, it's not their decision to do that. So that's the reason why we camped on the other side of the street. And then the day of the gig, what security then did was it came to about 8 or 9 AM and they basically said, right, everyone who's been camping, now you can come across the road. And it was just, it just worked really well and it was perfect for everyone. I do just want to reiterate the fact as well that the venues with in-house security, I promise you, they will keep you safe overnight. If you are camping outside of their venue, their main priority at that point then is to make sure you are safe. Because when I camped to see Niall on the Michael McIntyre show in 2017, I think it was, we were basically the first ones to have arrived. We arrived at probably about 11 o'clock in the evening the night before. We were the first ones to arrive and no one else arrived for a good 12 hours. So we were the only ones there. and we had our tent, we were inside the tent, we were all nice and cozy, and then basically this man came up to us, and you know, he was harmless, he meant no harm, but obviously we were 3 females, so we were a little bit worried. And what we didn't know at this point was that security had been watching us all night on the cameras, and when they saw on the cameras that this guy was kind of, you know, overstaying his welcome in a way, they could tell that we kind of wanted him to go because we weren't comfortable with him being there anymore. The security guard came out, asked him to move on and to kind of leave us alone essentially, and then he said to us, don't worry guys, we've been inside all night, we've been watching you all night, you've been safe all night, so don't worry, if you need anything, knock on the door, let us know, and we'll, you know, we'll sort you out. So that was just another really good experience with security. Obviously security in different venues and different areas are all different, but in my experience I've had some amazing security people that have just always made sure that they have like our best interests at heart. The most important thing you can do realistically is listen to the security. Obviously you'll get the odd one telling a lie, like you'll get the odd one coming up to you saying, oh, they've cancelled, and it's just like, come on. I've had this for 10 years, I've had this since One Direction were a thing, I've even had it before. Stop it. It's not funny anymore. It wasn't funny 10 years ago, it's not funny now, so just stop with the non-funny jokes. You will get the odd security obviously saying things to you, giving you the wrong information and things like that, but what I would do is just, like I said earlier on in the video, just please wait for the afternoon security, because they're the ones that are definitely kind of going to know what's going on, and they're going to be the ones that are helping you right up until the doors open. Some of them will even come inside to make sure that you're okay once the doors have opened. And that's what happened at Harry in 2017 in Manchester. Is basically the security there, just like Birmingham, they were incredible, totally understanding as to why we all camped and everything else, helped us out all day. And basically what they did was they penned us in groups of 20, so everyone who had camped, they basically penned us in groups of 20 because they knew that about 20 people could get on the barrier. They only knew that because we told them, because we kind of gauged it from the size of the venue that about 20 people could get on the barrier. So they basically split us up into groups of 20, and then when the doors opened they let my group of 20 in first, because we were like the first 20 people to have camped. And basically when we all got on the barrier and we all got the places we wanted, the head of security, before he let anyone else into the venue, he came in and said to us all, he was like, are you all okay? You all where you wanted to be? Have you all got everything? You all sorted? And we were like, yeah, that's fine. Then he like radioed and said, right, let everyone else in, open the doors, everyone else can come in. So it was really nice of him to come in and make sure that we're all basically where we wanted to be, instead of just opening the doors and just allowing it to be a bit of a free-for-all, because obviously then everyone pushes and it gets a little bit messy sometimes. But it was just really nice of him to come in to make sure that we're all where we wanted to be. So I never actually outroed the vlog because, like I say, I thought it was gonna all be in just one huge part, and obviously it's not. So this is my little outro, and then you guys will get part 2 on Wednesday. I really hope you guys enjoyed this first video. As I said, there's a lot of information to kind of comprehend in a way. There's just a lot of things that I needed to tell you guys, and there's still so much more to come. So if you want to stick around for part 2 and you haven't already, subscribe below. I promise it will be worth it, especially if you want to have the best camping experience that you can, because honestly it is so much fun. That is basically it for this video. I will see you guys all on Wednesday for part 2. And obviously, like I always do, I just want to remind you all to follow your passion, make it happen. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye!